Good morning, everybody. How are you? I hope you are fine. Today's lesson is about conditional. Conditional if. We have four types for conditional if. If you need to ask any question, please raise your hands and I will ask you to unmute yourself. Okay? So today's lesson is about conditional if, and we have four types for conditional if. Zero type, the first type, second type, and the third type. Okay? Now,
Zero conditional.
let's
Form. If
watch the
plus
video.
subject plus present simple subject plus present simple. Subject plus present simple plus if plus subject plus present simple. Examples. If you boil water, it turns into steam. Water turns into steam if you boil it. Uses. To talk about general facts and habits. Examples. If I eat too much, I feel sick. A solar eclipse happens if the moon passes between the sun and the earth.
As conditional type 1.
Hi Abdurrahim.
Hi Sakina.
Tell me Abdurrahim,
Yes.
if you have some free time next weekend, what will you do?
I am not sure, but let me think about it. Well. If I have some free time next weekend, I will go on a scooter tour around the town. I may visit some friends on the way. What else? Yes. If I have some extra free time next weekend, I'll play billiards games with my sister Bushra. We may watch a football match as well. What about you, Sakina? What will you do if it snows tomorrow?
Well, no doubts. If it snows, I will not go on a picnic, but I will go to the clothes shop to buy a new coat. What else? Well, give me a second. Yes. If it snows tomorrow, I will sit by the fireplace and watch TV in my bedroom. If it snows tomorrow, I will also watch the snow through my bedroom big window.
Sounds like great plans. Enough chatting, Sakina. If we don't finish the project by this afternoon, the boss will fire us for sure.
Yes, sure Abdurrahim. Let's go back to work now.
I hope you enjoyed watching the animation. Now it's time to analyze the use and the form of conditional type 1. So, based on the animation video, we may deduce that the main use of conditional type 1 is to talk about real or possible future situations, and their probable results. Now let's move to the form based on examples from the animation.
If I have some free time next weekend, I will go on a scooter tour around the town.
If it snows, I will not go on a picnic.
We'll go on a scooter tour around the town.
If it snows, I will not go on a picnic.
So, based on the two examples, we notice that to form conditional type 1 we use if plus simple present plus simple future. By the way, we can change the order of the sentences, so we can start by simple future, then if, and then simple present.
I will go on a scooter tour around the town if I have some free time next weekend.
I will not go on a picnic if it snows.
As conditional type 2.
Hi Sakina, it's good to see you.
Hi Abdurrahim. It's good to see you too. Tell me Abdurrahim, what would you do if you won $1 million?
Well, let me think about it. So, if I won $1 million, I would travel around the world. I would visit a lot of famous places. No doubts, I would stay in very expensive 5-star hotels. What else? I would buy expensive gifts for all my friends. What about you Sakina? What would you do if you were a president?
Well, let me think a little bit. If I were a president, I would make some important social changes. For example, if I were a president, I would fight poverty. Adding to that, I would build more hospitals and health centers. What else? Yes, I would build more schools and universities.
That's great Sakina, let us stop dreaming and be real. I don't have any $1 million and you're not a president either.
Yes, that's true.
So based on the animation, we deduce that conditional type 2 refers to an impossible or imaginary condition in the present time and its probable results. To illustrate, let us consider the following example: if I were a president, I would make some important social changes. The idea here is just imaginary because in reality, I am not a president, so I can't make any social changes. Now, let's reconsider some examples from the animation in order to explore conditional type 2 form.
If I won $1 million, I would travel around the world. If I won $1 million, I would travel around the world.
If I were a president, I would fight poverty. If I were a president, I would fight poverty.
To form conditional type 2, we use if plus simple past plus would or wouldn't plus infinitive base form. By the way, we can change the order of the sentences. I would travel around the world if I won $1 million. I would fight poverty if I were a president. In this case, the form will be would or wouldn't plus infinitive plus if plus simple past.
Conditional type 3.
Hi Abdurrahim. How are you feeling today?
Terrible as you can see, but it's okay.
Oh dear, tell me, what happened exactly?
I didn't wake up on time because I forgot to set the alarm clock. Consequently, I arrived late to the bus stop, so I missed the bus. Really, I was very angry about that. So I decided to ride my old scooter to work. As I was driving furiously, I didn't pay attention to a big rock on the street. I collided with the rock. As a result, I lost control and I fell off of the scooter. When I opened my eyes, I found myself in the hospital.
Actually, if you had set the alarm clock, you would have woken up on time and you wouldn't have missed the bus.
That's right. As a matter of fact, if I had paid attention to that rock on the street, I wouldn't have lost control of the scooter and I wouldn't have fallen off.
I hope that now you developed a primary idea about conditional type 3. So let's move on to explore the use and form. So based on the animation video, we may deduce that conditional type 3 refers to an impossible or imaginary condition in the past and its probable result in the past. This means that type 3 conditional sentences describe something that didn't happen in reality. Let us consider the following example: if I had paid attention to that rock on the street, I wouldn't have lost control of the scooter and I wouldn't have fallen off. However, in reality, I didn't pay attention, as result, I lost control and fell. Now, it is time to explore the form, so let us reconsider some examples from the animation.
Actually, if you had set the alarm clock, you would have woken up on time and you wouldn't have missed the bus.
If I had paid attention to that rock on the street, I wouldn't have lost control of the scooter and I wouldn't have fallen off.
To form conditional type 3, we use if plus past perfect plus would or wouldn't plus have plus past participle. By the way, we can change the order of the sentences. We can start by would or wouldn't plus have plus past participle plus if plus past perfect.
I wouldn't have lost control of the scooter and I wouldn't have fallen off if I had paid attention to that rock on the street.
With the zero type, we are talking about general truth or fact or personal habit. So we can use if or when in this condition only. In the zero type, if equals when. In zero type only, if equals when. The rule, if present simple. This is the condition, and our result will be also in the present simple. Let's see. If water reaches 100 degrees, it boils. So the verb in the condition reaches in the present simple, and the result boils in the present simple. Unless means if plus not. Okay? Unless we boil water, it doesn't evaporate. So our verb boil in the present simple and it doesn't evaporate in the present simple. When we drop something, it falls to the ground. The verb drop in the present simple, this is the condition, and our result in the present condition, in the present simple, falls. After that, the first type. In type 1, we are talking about a real situation in the present or in the future. Means we still have the time to do the action. We still have the time to do the action. We can't know what will happen. So this action can happen or can't happen in the future. But it describes possible things. Yani we have time to do it. We still have time to do it. It can happen and it can't happen. We can't know the result, which could easily come true. So the result can easily come true. Here in this type, we use in the condition if plus the present simple. The difference in the result. The result can be will plus infinitive, can plus infinitive, or may plus infinitive. How? If it rains, what will happen? I want to go to the park. So in the condition, it's in the present simple, rains, and the result won't go. Will plus not will infinitive. If I study today, I will go to the party tonight. So the condition, study in the present simple, the result, I will go to the party tonight. Remember, we said unless means if plus not. So we concentrate on the meaning. Unless we study hard means if we don't study hard, what will happen? we won't succeed. Okay, so the condition in the present simple and the result in future will plus infinitive. What about the second type or type 2? We use it to talk about imaginary situation. It's a not real situation. It can't happen in the present or in the future. In type 2, we are talking about a dream, an imaginary situation. It can't happen in the present or the future. We talk about something in the present which is impossible to happen. It can't happen because it's not true. And we use the second edition, the second type also for advice. With type 2, we are talking about imaginary situation. It can't happen in the present or in the future, and we use it to talk about advice. Okay? Type. What about the 4? If plus past simple, because it can't happen in the present or in the future, so we go one step back. So we are in the present, one step back is the past simple. So if في condition past simple and the result would or could or might plus the infinitive verb. And take care, here in type 2, verb to be will be were, no was, with all the subject pronouns. I will say, if I were you, if she were you, if they were you, if he were you. So the verb to be with type 2 will be were, no was. Why? Because it's unreal present. It can't happen. It can't happen. Let's see. If I won the lottery, I would buy a big house. This means the fact I don't won the lottery, so I don't buy the big house. Okay? So in type 2, we are talking about imaginary situation in the present or in the future, and it can't happen. It can't happen. Okay? So we use past simple and would will infinitive. If I had his number, I would call him. The truth means I don't have his number, so I don't call him. Using if I had his number, go step back.
أنا حاليا خلاص مش شيماء مش تدخل بعد 50 سنة.
مين البيس برضه في الاخر خالص، بس برضه عامله ميوت.
هو ايه الدايرة العجيبة اللي جنب
سما
جنب
هو
الواحد.
سما هو كتب لك فاضل قد ايه على الحصة، لأن ممكن الحصة تقفل في وش الميس زي أي يوم مدرس حصل فيها.
Okay. Be back. Stop talking, please. Okay? So, we talk in the second type about about imaginary situation, so it can't be true. If I had his number, I would call him. This means I don't have his number, so I can't call him. What about advice? If I were you, I wouldn't go out with that man. This is for advice. If she were tall, this means she is not tall. She would play basketball. Okay? So in type 2, we are talking about imaginary situation in the present and in the future. It can't happen in the present or the future, so we go one step back and we are talking about advice also. Keep in your mind, verb to be will be were with all the subject pronouns in the advice. We can't use was, okay, because it's unreal present. It can't happen. After that, the last type is the third type, okay? Here, we are talking about the unreal situation, but it's in the past. We are not talking about the present or the future. We are not talking about present or future. We go back in the past. So, one step back from the past will be the past perfect. One step back from the past will be the past perfect. يبقى in the third type, we are talking about unreal situation. It didn't happen in the past. It didn't happen in the past. So we go back one step. So instead of the past simple, we will use the past perfect. Remember كده, the past perfect had plus PP. Okay? And in the result, we can use would or could or might, but have and the past participle. Okay? So I can say if he had studied, if she had studied, she would have passed the exam. This means that she didn't study and she didn't pass the exam. Okay? If I had okay? Okay, you can talk.
Okay.
Sama?
شيماء.
Yes.
Yes, I can
Sama?
understand this part. Yes,
You didn't understand?
Me too.
Sama, quickly, please.
Me too.
I can
You can't understand type 3?
Yes.
Okay, again. In type 3, we are talking about unreal situation in the past. We are talking about unreal situation in the past. It didn't happen in the past. Okay? So we go one step back. The past simple, furthermore, the past simple will be the past perfect. Okay? So if the situation is she didn't study, so she didn't pass the exam. Okay, so this is in the past type. What about using if? We will go one step back. So she didn't study. So if she had studied, what would happen? She would have passed the exam. This means she didn't study and she didn't pass the exam. If I hadn't eaten so much, I wouldn't have felt sick. This means I ate too much and I felt sick. You understand me, Sama? Sama?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay?
Hello? Okay.
Okay. To conclude what I said, okay? So, in the zero type, we are talking about fact and science. Okay, yes, Mona?
ميس يعني الثيرد تايب ده بيتكلم عن حاجات انا بتخيل لو كانت حصلت في الماضي
Happened
بس
in
انا
the
شايفه
past.
دي حاجه
Yes,
معينه تحصل
it
لي.
happened in the past. It happened or it didn't happen in the past. Okay? So we change it from the past simple to the past perfect. Okay? We will answer questions and you will see the difference. Okay? I will tell you everyone. Okay? So with the zero type, we are talking about fact and science. So we are using the present simple in the condition and in the result. In type 1, we are talking about real situation. It can happen in the present and in the future. Okay? So in the condition, we use the present simple. And the result, we use will, can, or may, and the infinitive. In type 2, we are talking about imaginary situation. It can't happen, or we are using about advice. So we use the past simple in the condition, would, could, might, and the infinitive in the result. Third type, we are talking about unreal situation in the past. It didn't happen in the past, or it happened in the past. So we use the past perfect and could have, would have, or might have plus the past participle.